a different angle today for our favorite myofascial stretch method technique of the day. It's, what day is it? It's Monday. I almost forgot. So I'll tell you where I am at today. A little bit of everywhere and nowhere. Hi, so glad you're here. We're going to do a little lower body work today, and I'm going to show you a really specific way that you can stabilize your hips after this. So be sure to catch that piece at the end. I'm going to show you, makes me think I got to get my other ball here. We're going to do a couple of techniques to actually stabilize the pelvis. So what do I mean by that? If you have maybe a history of your hips being out, if you imagine these are my hip bones, they roll, right? Almost like wheels, and they move forward and backwards. So the pelvis is in 3 places. So sometimes we're tight on one side, say if this is my back, and then it pulls it up, right? Because the bones just do what they're told by fascia and muscle. And so it rolls it forward. It's going to throw that whole hip forward, which is going to make the leg a little longer. That's just soft tissue movement. That's not like a true leg discrepancy. That is so rare, very rare, and only identified with an x-ray and tape measure for real. So, but we can have some instability in our hips and our pelvis. So it's nice to actually open up, create space in the hips, but we also want to balance them and stabilize that area. So it's not always doing the same thing over and over again. We're going to relieve tightness, right? Any pain or tightness, we're going to look for any areas. We're going to use the smaller balls today in the hips and pelvis and around the glute. And then we're going to show you some techniques that I do with my clients at the office to help them stabilize those areas, to start strengthening so that it doesn't always go out or go into that same pattern. Same old, same old. So we're going to do a little bit of a series just to open up our hips, and then I'll show you the stabilization piece. So I'm going to use today my yoga tune-up balls. I always call these the bag of balls, which is why every time I show them, I'm like, what are these called again? Because I just call them the bag of balls. And so again, if you take this out, it's about a little smaller than a tennis ball, around there. So your tennis ball is going to be great for this. You can borrow one from the dog, and you could also use the 2 together. So again, we've used tennis balls in the past where you tie them in a tube sock so that they're held together and they don't squirm around, and you have a little space to push off of for some compression. If you don't have these around, you can always use your quantum ball is what I call it, but it's just a 4 to 5 inch ball, and it has a little bit of give in it but holds its own. So I'm going to start by laying on my side. I'm going to use the 2 balls here and look for a spot. I might shimmy down to 1, but we'll see. So I'm going to start on this side, and if you notice, I'm going to lay on the ball and put it right along here. So I'm going to go below this bone here, kind of in the meaty spot of my glute, and I'm using the double balls there. So not hard to find a spot, I gotta say. So my opposite leg is bent. You can see my foot there. I thought this would just give you a different angle. You can kind of see what we're doing. Gotta tell you, I feel that one. I've been gardening now for a couple days, and all that means is today I put mulch out in the beds. Yep. And don't forget this, I planted some marigolds because I am trying to save some tomato plants that have already caught the attention of the neighborhood varmint or whatever. Whoever's eating them, they have my attention. So we'll see. I'm going to have my husband, he's a potter. I told him to make me a big owl. So we'll see. Scare those guys. So I'm going to breathe and feel. I have some nice stabilization here. If this is ever too much pressure with whatever tool or prop that you're using, you can do this on the bed. And so, of course, that'll give a little bit. Or you can use a softer ball. So just change the density of where you're at or what you're laying on. And then breathe and feel. My shoulder is propped up here. my elbow is right under my shoulder. It keeps for a happy shoulder, so as opposed to way out ahead of me or kind of behind me where you're leaning over it. So I'm directly on top of that. And my attention is right where those balls are under my glute there. So we have compression, elongation, right? Sometimes we do a little suspension, like if we're laying on the foam roller and just allowing our body to open up. It's just reminding our body of where it can go in space. Like my head can fall back and this can open up, right? That's suspension. But with all of them, we're never forcing anything. We're just hanging out, allowing the body to soften and melt. Bringing your attention to your body, really feeling. It might be more than just where the pressure is. You might feel it further down your leg or higher up. All that's okay, as long as it's not electrical or shooting, no zinging. We're not going for that. But you can feel a pull or a stretch, or you can feel that pain refer. I just had an appointment with a client online. It's so fun to do the telehealth and really productive. I'm really excited about how much is able to come through in the video call. So if you're ever interested in that, to do a one-on-one, just shoot me a message and let me know. It's been really nice, and yeah, we went over different stretches she can do and different ways her body is hurting and how that shows up in her world and how we can start to get that to go away and soften by introducing more of the myofascial stretch method techniques and how to fit them in her day, really. Which ones work best? I am loving this. I'm feeling this. I have the 2 balls in the bag there, so if you have 2 tennis balls, or you can just lay on the single one. But I'm feeling this. I haven't done 2 balls in a long time. It's the bag of balls, those yoga tune-up balls. And it is getting a good spot. Sometimes the broader surface area is a little easier on any tight areas you have. So this left side particular for me, I'm on this side is a little tight, so I thought maybe that double ball would do the trick, and there it is. 2 to 5 minutes, you're allowing the fascia to soften, stretch, and melt. You're also, if you imagine, neural pathways are being created as you reconnect with this area. I'm feeling that input. We're staying there for a longer time, so we're actually having to reconnect, right? As opposed to like, oh, there's a ball in my glute. We're actually like, oh, it's still there. Oh, I'm doing okay. So you're just reconnecting. You're increasing that feedback loop, which is going to help you get better. It helps put it on the map for you. When we have pain, we kind of disconnect with it. So all that really is reconnecting with our body. So when we're moving around throughout our day, we know where our foot is or our hip. We sit in a way that complements our body as opposed to creating pain. So we just start to follow everything kind of like we're on a little scavenger hunt. This is amazing. I am feeling mostly, I have the 2 balls here. I'm going to roll off so you can see. I feel more of it, actually I'm going this way. I feel more of it closer to my sacrum. So again, these are the balls that I'm using, which are about the size of a tennis ball. I'm feeling that closer to the sacrum there on the left side. I'm going to show you what I mean. So if that flat base of your spine here, that triangle, I'm feeling it closer as opposed to out here, which I definitely had some input. But I want to get this area a little bit closer there. So I'm going to lay on that same side, but I'm going to put the balls vertical, and I'm going to put them right on the edge close to that sacrum, still in soft tissue though. So you're going to feel me. Let's see how I'm going to do this. So you just find your spot and wiggle around. I bend this knee so I can kind of angle and support myself. And notice I've got my hand out. I'm hanging out on this double ball. So a couple tennis balls tied in a tube sock, or if you got your yoga touch balls, and I'm allowing my body to soften and melt. Again, I've been doing some activity that I haven't done in a long time. I've been planting some lavender, mulching and such. It's been really nice, but I can feel it just doing different stuff that I don't do all the time. And then the opposite of that is I'm rewatching all the Harry Potters. So a little time on the couch and time in the garden makes for a body that would love to be on the mat. Some softening into that space. Aligning with your body. So breathe and feel. Bring your attention right to where you feel that input. Again, after we do our stretch today, we're going to do some hip stabilization exercises. So hang on with me and we'll go over those before we're out of here today. I love this one. We just found it. It just seemed like that's what I need. My sacroiliac joint. So I'm allowing that sacroiliac joint, so that space to open up. If you ever hear your chiropractor or someone talk about your SI joint, that is right there, and it's a great spot to release. And often a source of instability if one side is tight and the other side is loose or moving. So then sometimes we actually have pain on the side that is not tight because it's moving for the whole thing. It's taking all that extra movement, and as opposed to the side that's locked down. You never know. You just kind of get in there and see what's going on and give it the time to release. Look at that. Oh, I'm just getting longer, taller and longer. That is amazing. So I have the two balls right under my glute, but close, they're vertical and they're close to my sacrum there on that. Very good spot. Loving it. I like the angle here. I'm kind of pushing off with this hand over here, but I feel stable. My shoulders are happy. It's not really hard work, and I'm just gently reminding myself to soften and let go. So I'm really feeling that at that top spot. Really great. Breathe and feel, right? So we're loosening up the glutes and hips before we do that stabilization. So it's one thing to be tight and open things up, but why do they always move and come out of place, or why does that always flare up? So usually there's a pattern in there. So today we're going to sneak in some stabilization. I am leaning more into that spot, leaning into the ball. I got some slack, so I'm taking out the slack. So I'm not bouncing. So good. All right. We should get to the other side. We're going to be here all day if we wait. So then before you switch, you can let your knees windshield wiper back and forth. That feels lovely. All right, so let's do the other side. So again, I have my two balls here, and you can tie them in a tube sock, or these are the Yoga Source balls, and they're in the little bag. So got my bag of balls. So I'm going to go to this side. Again, I'm going to go horizontal first. Here, I'll show you. I'm just looking around in this spot here. So get in that kind of the meat of your glute here. So I'm not on the bone. All right, so I'm going to lift up. Mind your elbow. So you can roll a little bit till you find your spot. And then check your elbow. It's nice and stacked there, so it's not ahead or behind me like that, right? So I've got it directly under my shoulder. And then I bend this foot and roll up a little bit, so I've got some stability. It helps me kind of modify how much pressure I'm putting on there. Again, each side is different, so you might want to take it to the bed or use a softer ball if one side is hollering. We want to be able to stay nice and present. This work is never injurious because we're not forcing anything. We're not making it happen. You're just allowing the body to soften and melt. Beautiful, beautiful work. We're going to open up the hips. Get some movement that can help decrease pain and tightness. So I'm allowing that tissue to melt. If you notice your mind wandering, sometimes you can get kicked out, right? That part of us that doesn't want us to feel it. It's trying to take care of us. It's on duty, right? So you just notice if you start thinking about dinner or your day, then you just gently bring your attention back to your body and back to what you're feeling. So just notice where the ball is. And that gives your brain, your mind something to think about, give it something to do, right? It's always trying to take care of you. So you get to direct it though, right? So we're going to breathe and feel. Just trying to check in with my body and notice if I'm tightening anywhere. Sometimes we kind of brace a little bit and we don't actually realize that we're doing it. I have a little bit of both going on here, I think. I get kicked out a little bit on this right side. Though, again, I think it'll look the opposite to you. This side is usually where I have a little tightness or pain if that starts getting chatty. But this side is actually the one that is more, most often is tight. There we go. I just noticed I was holding my tailbone. Like if I had a tail, I was tucking my tail. So allowing that to soften and expand. Breathe and feel. Compression and elongation. So anywhere you have pain, you can use the ball for compression. And if it hurts too much right in that spot, you can go above or below that area and start working the areas around it. As that starts to open up, you'll get a little more space where you can get closer. Do that, or you can, again, do any of the techniques, most of them anyway, on the bed or softer surface. All right, I'm going to roll off this side, and I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. It was this beautiful in-the-moment discovery of the two balls vertical, so I'm going to show you where I'm putting them. So here's the edge of my sacrum. I'm going to put them right here. So I'm below all soft tissue, but below the bones, but I'm close to that inside there, as opposed to out here towards my hip. I'm closer to my sacrum. So I'm going to find my spot, and they're vertical, and then I have a little bit more of that. I'm more face up, sunny side up here. It's a good spot. It's funny, I feel my left side wants to move and try and take care of it a little bit. So we're just going to sit here and let that other side melt. So we're showing those two different techniques for the hips for compression, and then we're going to do a little stabilization. Breathe and feel. I've got my attention right where the input is. The rest of my body feels good, so do a little check-in. Make sure your shoulders and elbows, everybody's happy while you hang out. You can always use that other ball if you need to. If you don't have a tennis ball or the tennis ball is too intense for this area, then just use the bigger 4 to 5 inch ball. Mine rolled away over there, but I'll show you when we're done. Now we're cooking. I just got some slack there. That was beautiful. Breathe and feel and let yourself be heavy. We're sinking towards the floor, into that prop, into the ball here. 2 to 5 minutes. You could even get up to 10. Just listening to your body if you've been there before. Probably if you're just starting out, you can stay on the lower end if it's a new technique or a new trick. You want to let your body get used to it first. So I feel like I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to get my beloved bust ball here. Hello. It's rolling away. So I've got my 4 to 5 inch quantum ball. I'm going to do a ball under the sacrum. So again, I'm going to release this area before we stabilize. I feel like we kind of open this area up. So I want to create some space here. So I'm going to put this ball right under my sacrum, and it's going to do a motion of tucking my tail feathers, right? So it'll elongate the space, my lower back. All right, so I'm going to bridge up. Everybody know how to bridge. And then I'm putting the ball right under my sacrum. And it's towards the bottom so that, again, it's allowing my hips to tuck. So I'm not, once I'm there, I'm just going to let them go. It's not an active stretch. I've got my feet there supporting me, so my knees are bent. But the rest of my body is just relaxing, and I'm allowing my lower back to sink towards the mat. Breathe and feel. This one is more subtle, but imagine just lengthening your spine. And if each vertebrae were a string of beads, so we're creating space between the beads. Find your breath. Why do we want to create space between the vertebrae? Yeah. We're giving those discs and all those nerves some elbow room, creating that shock absorption. So when we stumble on the uneven sidewalk when you're walking the dog, you're able to catch yourself. Your body is able to take that little extra oomph to the system. Has that shock absorption and that elasticity. Soften your adductors here as you're laying here on that ball. Soften your tailbone. Breathe and feel. Two to 5 minutes helps get that long lasting change in the tissue. So as opposed to just a little give, the body goes right back. We're getting the connective tissue. It's a long-term change. Softening fascia. It can change states like ice into water. If you imagine, instead of being plasticky, right? Get some give in the tissue. So I'm elongating. Imagine if I were creating space here, which is going to be part of our stabilization exercise coming up. So that's why I threw this one in there. It's a goodie. So when you come up, we're just going to bridge up. So I was using that quantum ball here. Alrighty. So I'm going to show you a couple things before we go into this stretch. So first off, I want to show you a pelvic tilt. And so it's similar to what we've been up to. So if your feet are on the floor, your knees are bent, you're going to tuck your tailbone. So you're going to tuck this way. I love how easy that is to come across. You're just exaggerating what we just did on the ball under our sacrum, right? So without the ball there, I'm tucking. So I'm active and I'm tucking my pelvis. It's almost like you're squishing something with the small of your back. So imagine if there was a little something back there, you're tucking. The movement comes just from here as opposed to forcing with my feet or any of that. It's very subtle, a little tuck. Tuck. A lot of physical therapists give this for a home strengthening, kind of for some homework, basically. So there is that. If you went to a PT, they gave you some homework, you might do that. Hold it for 10 seconds and do it for 10 times in a row. Creating some core strength, right? Firing those muscles before I go into my next phase, which is a bridge. This will be a bonus. So we're just showing the bridge. So I'm pushing with my feet and I bridge up. So I'm lifting my glutes up off the mat. Doesn't have to be as high as you can. Just lift it a little bit. Same thing, you could do that 10 times, hold for 10 seconds. All right, back to hip stabilization. Those two are really great strengtheners. Even if you have chronic hip pain, this pelvic tilt is amazing. Even if you're a CrossFitter, pelvic tilt is creating movement and strengthening those deep core muscles, okay? All right, so for this hip stabilization, you're going to need this ball or something to give you the input. You could, just something about that size. Trying to think of something else. You could use a pillow even, right? So I'm going to have my legs straight, even though I'm going to do a pelvic tilt. So I'm going to show you that. But I'm going to put the ball between my legs right up against my groin. So here I am. We're using this for feedback so I can feel it. So we're going to be squeezing our legs together. I'm going to squeeze the ball. Okay, so here I am. I squeeze the ball, which engages those adductors here. Okay, so step one, squeeze the ball. My legs are straight. You don't have to squeeze it as hard as you can. We're just engaging the system. Okay, so squeeze the ball. Okay, step two is, actually I'm going to keep the ball there. Step two is to do a pelvic tilt. So it won't be as exaggerated as when your knees are bent, but give it a whirl. Try it first with your knees bent so you get a feel for it, and then tuck your pelvis. So again, not a lot of movement. I feel a little bit of my glutes kind of lift up off the floor, just a little. I'm not like a bridge, but just that subtle movement. Just trying to make some distinctions of what that feels like. So squeeze the ball, and at the same time, add your pelvic tilt. Okay? And if you notice your feet, look at my feet here, they might flop out to the side, right? So what I'm going to have you do from the hip joint, pretend these are my leggers here. Here's my hip joint. I'm going to have you, look at my hands here, I'm going to have you turn your legs in as if you were bringing your feet, your toes closer together. But I want the movement to come up from higher up. So you can put your hands on your hips so you feel it. So I'm going to squeeze the ball, pelvic tilt, and then I'm just going to rotate just a little bit my legs there. And for me, what that does is I feel it create a little space in that SI, in that area we just worked with the ball, with compression. Okay? So squeeze the ball, again, not as hard as you can, engaging the system, pelvic tilt, and then I add that little bit of rotation. So all that does is, as opposed to my feet being out here, I'm bringing them in with my attention on the hips though. I already feel that. That is amazing. I've got a bonus for you. Everybody know a Kegel? So we're squeezing, but it's more than a squeeze, it's a lift. All right, ladies, we're going to squeeze the ball, pelvic tilt, internally rotate, and then add a Kegel. So squeeze vaginally and then lift. So you're trying to pull that ball inside of you. I really said that. Pull it in. Okay. Squeeze the ball, pelvic tilt, internally rotate. You can hang out there, or if you want, add the Kegel, right? So contract vaginally and then imagine lifting the ball like an elevator. That's how to maintain that pelvic floor. Beautiful. So if you have trouble with any of these, or you're just starting to build some core strength, just start with squeezing the ball and then add a pelvic tilt. Just break it down and do one and work your way up to getting that second step in. Squeeze the ball, pelvic tilt, and then you can, as you bring your attention, you make more distinctions. You can add that just subtle internal rotation, which again brings a little, I imagine like flaring out the back of my pelvis a little bit. And then you can add the Kegel, because who does not want a toned pelvic floor? Everybody. That's our stabilization for today. So we got some compression in, which I love, which we just noticed. So I can make a basket. Yay. And then with the double balls, and then stabilization. It's so good to see you all. I'm going to look and see, hey, Donna, how's it going? If we have any questions. Do you guys have any questions? The last one is kind of a thing. It's so good, though, even just starting with squeezing the ball, and then you can add the pelvic tilt. So feel free to ask any questions. Throw a comment in below if you're having trouble finding that one, and then I can talk you through it anytime. I'd love to. I hope you all are having a marvelous day, and yeah, you find some time to get on your mat. Again, let me know if you ever want to have a one-on-one session. We're doing video health. It's so great. I had one today and it went really well. It's been really fun and productive. And the other piece would be, of course, if you want any full-length classes. So we do full-length classes. Imagine a flow of all the techniques that are put together in a way that creates some space, decrease pain and tightness. So there'll be a link in the comments if you want. There's even a free 40-minute class. You can always log in and do that one and see how you can integrate that in your day or week. And let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear from you all. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.